Right, welcome back to Down the Shed. So I'm just going to record this one top down. So here we have an OLED display FM radio.
Yeah, well, do you know what? That leads me on perfectly to the thing I want to talk about next, because like this is a really authentic thing for you.
So if we press and hold the middle two buttons, we get that. That's a clue to what this radio is. Also, another clue is here. So if we take my Baofeng UV5R, which has been programmed to 409.850, you will find that this little radio is also a two-way receiver. Woo! Testing 1 2 1 2. So we put the Baofeng down on the table and press the push to talk button. We get a bit of feedback, but as you will hear, we are getting some transmission through the UV5R. It's also got a call button, so we might get a bit of feedback on this one, but I shall take the radio, press the push to talk button, and talk into the microphone. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's build this radio. So here's the bag of parts. Let's get this kit built. There isn't a lot to do to this. You'll find that it's mostly already pre-built. Now I've built the first one as a practice. So here we have the main shell. In the shell casing we get the battery terminals, 5 screws, battery compartment, and another one of those little screwdrivers. So the case will do first actually. So this is really simple. I'm going to zoom in. So we have a bunch of what they call battery shrapnel. So we'll take one of these little single ones, and that wants to go into a single slot like the negative here. So just slide these in. Those little tabs go through the holes in the case. And then just use a screwdriver or something to push them in. Like so. Then we'll take a double one. Now you have to be careful you get these the right way round. So we've got a double here and a double there. There's a negative spring and a positive pad. So this one wants to go in line with the positive and the negative on this side. Again, get that little metal tail into the little hole. That ain't in properly. And again, use your screwdriver, just slide that home. So the single positive and the single negative are the ones you're going to wire off because they complete the circuit. Again, bend that in. So we've got 6 screws, you get a spare one. We'll just put those out of the way over there for the minute. Open our bag of many things. So you do get quite a decent little colour instructional brochure leaflet thing with this one. But it's that simple, you really don't need it. So there's our OLED display. I'll come back to that. There's our Android USB and our 2 electrical connectors. There's our bag of many parts, or not so many parts. So the next thing I'm going to do is wake up the soldering iron. I'm going to tin the speaker. The plus is on the left, the positives on the right, negatives on the left as I'm looking at it. We'll take one of our electrical connectors. There is a tiny bit of cable sticking out, and we don't really need to add to that. That's enough to solder in. So we'll take our iron, Give ourselves a nice blob of solder on the clean side of the pads. We now take our positive and negative terminals. Positive closest to me, so just reflow the solder, hold the terminal in, let it cool, hold the wire in, sorry, again reflow the solder, hold the cable in, let it cool. That's our speaker now wired up, as you can see. That's fine. We will super glue the speaker in. Actually, we'll do that now. Glue can dry while we're putting the rest together. So just a couple of little spots around the speaker. I just do a couple of places like that. And then literally just plop the speaker in anywhere you want. Job's a good one. And then we have it. I would have liked a slightly bigger speaker. I mean, this thing looks like it's flatter than Holland. It almost looks like it's been compressed and you want to pop it out. But anyway, that's the speaker done. Let's get the other cable on. So as I said, you've got the single positive and the single negative where my fingers are. So again, tin the pads, like so. Make sure I've got these right. Right, okay. So positive over there, negative over here. Just let that heat and go. So, oh, wrong one. So now we'll take our other cable, positive onto this side, and that's dry, let it cool, and we'll take the negative wire, again just flow the solder, add your cable, wire, whatever, let it cool. And that is our finished back side of the case. So now we have the speaker in and the connector, and we have the battery box wired up. All our terminals are in place, our wires are on. So that can be discarded for now. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take our circuit board, and I'm just going to sit that on a blob of blue tack. We have 4 switches, which will just go in like so. I'm going to solder them one at a time. And lastly, switch number 4. Now there ain't a lot of parts here, as I said. All the surface stuff's already been soldered on before we get it, which is a bit annoying. And that's the last switch. I mean, some of those surface parts, the SMDs on here, are bloody tiny, and I would need my digital microscope, which hopefully I'm going to buy this month. I've got to bear in mind I need to get enough kits to keep the channel going for the month and pay for my number plate. Right, that's the 4 switches. Next we'll put in the little microphone, Now it does tell you that the pin underneath of the 3 little lines on it is the negative, but it doesn't matter, because if you look at the board, you can only put it in one way because the pins are to one side, so you can only put it into one orientation to fit it onto the board. So let's solder that in. There we go. Snip those 2. Right, so that's the microphone and the 4 switches on board. Next we've got these 2 power terminals for the speaker and the battery box. Again, solder those down. Give that a tip of clean. Turn the board. Let's do the other 2 terminals. There we go. Don't think they need clipping off. So that's those on board. The next one is this little Android female USB connector. So the front's wiring, the front solder into the actual board, and the 2 pads at the rear are basically surface mount. So we just want to elevate that slightly, somewhat, otherwise this will pop off again. Pop off. Who can remember? I can't remember the actress's name. I can see her face, but who or what program was the character Miss Popoff? And trust me, if you get the answer right, you're as old as I am, and I'm in my early 50s. The answer was Rent-A-Ghost. Oh, I used to love Rent-A-Ghost. Right, so we'll just solder the power connectors on, which don't want to. There we go. They won't want it in the play ball. Oh, going to melt that block. So once you've heated this enough, it'll take the solder. Now we have to fill these 2 holes with as much solder as we can to anchor it. So just flow it, hold it there for a minute, remove. Same detail, flow, hold, let it sink in hopefully. Grab hold of that USB-C. You can add a bit of solder to this side if you really want to, but I'm not going to. I did on that one, but I'm not going to on this one. So now we're going to do 2 of the 3 capacitors. Again, remember the grey on the capacitor is negative and the long leg is positive. They haven't given us a square hole for the positive on this, but it is marked positive, and a little white chalk, well not chalk, but a little white outline for the negative side. So it's not guesswork. And they both go in the same direction. I'm saving my best solder for the 2 BT Bluetooth boombox kits. I've got a really cool little hi-fi MP3 recorder to review. Got in the charity shop yesterday, but I need to get hold of a record before we can test the record player. So that's 2 of the 3 capacitors in. All 3 capacitors are identical, so you can't get one in the wrong place. You can only put them the wrong way round. So again, long leg positive, short leg negative. Get that in there. And he drops the blue tack. This is this kit almost done, by the way. I've only got like 3 parts left to solder. That's the last capacitor in. Where's my snips just gone? Oh, there. Use these other ones now. Right, so next up we shall have the switch. So this is the on-off switch. Again, the two outer legs are going to be what anchors it, so you really want to get a good amount of solder in those. Let it flow in there. Once you've done these two, basically everything else is just power. So you just need to get a decent amount to make a good joint, like so. Those two outer ones, get as much as you can in there, because the material you add is going to be the anchor point for this switch. Right, let's have a quick look. Okay, so we've got the 24M crystal, I think it is. No, it's a 32.768. So crystal in and then bend it over to sit flat, basically. And because it's been bent over, we are going to have to sit that on blue tack. After this, the only thing we've got left is the antenna. So that's the crystal in. So the antenna, we literally want to go through the front of the board. Oh, we've got the OLED display as well, but through the hole in the front of the board, like so. Just pin that down. Like it to sort of sit slightly dead vertical, makes it look a bit neater. And again, just cram in a whole crap load of solder. Like so. Now if you want to, I suppose you could put a little bit on this side as well, because there is a pad on each side of the board. Just to make sure it's got that nice connection. Right, so there we have it. That is basically our completed circuit board. We could literally now plug this in. No, we can't. That's almost our completed circuit board. Our next job is to solder this OLED together. So the header goes in the base like so. So you've got the little pins sticking through the top. Okay, it looks good enough. So this now just wants to solder onto the board, and then we're done. So pop that in. I'm thinking, there we go. Hold it down with a finger, get some solder in. Okay, so look at that. Happy days. So we can crop those back slightly. And that is now our completed circuit board. So what we should do is we'll take our speaker and plug it into the speaker side. Take our power, plug that into the power side. Now this wants to go, let's peel off the can't get it. Just peel it off. Oh yeah. So now we want to, which way is this going? Yep, the buttons are going forwards. So this basically just wants to go tuck all this in best you can. Bearing in mind it is going to be on display. Set the circuit board once you get those wires out of the way. Okay, so getting the radio in the correct orientation, set all this gubbins down as best you can, so that should fit into those holes. They should go in nicely like so. And then the top case should just sit on top. So we're going to put these buttons on. It doesn't matter if you do it before or after. Right, so that's our board. Let's get our cover on. Why not with that? Would that come like that? I reckon it came like that. Okay, so that's the case in place. All we've got to do now is drop 4 of these little screws in. Tighten those down. They're self-tapping, so they will be a bit tight. Bring that one in upside down. Come back to heat. You've really got to press and turn into them because they're biting into that plastic, creating the threads, self-tapping. So we'll get that last one out. That wire looks like it was just about to be in the hole, but it isn't. But it's good enough to tap this puppy in. Right, so all we've got to do now is put 3 AAAs in there. Battery cover on. One of those last 2 screws, and they're so tiny it's nice of them to give us an extra one. That was upside down again. Right, now for the moment of truth. Oh, it's already on. There we go. I don't know what that got into, but we had some sort of weird calibration thing. So if we turn the other radio on, we should have walkie-talkie. Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2. It's because I'm too close. We're getting oscillation feedback. Whoa! Right, I'm going to stand in the other side of the shed. And there we have it. That is our... Okay, camera took a nosedive. So what we can do now is have a bit more fun.
Frequency mode.
1 2 1 2, testing testing. So that is both radios fully working, and happy days. So one of them hasn't been tuned in to all the radio stations and one has. So double press the middle two buttons. It's found a station. And it's going through all the presets. Now if you press and hold it, I think, it will scan. So if you watch, that will scan to 102 now. There we go. 2.9. Oh no. Okay, so it should have picked up 2.9 and 3.5. If we press and hold both of the end buttons, it goes into a scan thing where it looks for all the channels. So I'll put that up in the window just to let it pick up. It's picking up weird channels compared to this one. And we've got our on-off switch there, our USB there. But these are a cracking little pair of radios. They do what they say on the tin, with as much as the walkie-talkies. So to go from radio to walkie-talkie, you press and hold the middle two, push to talk, call. Then when you're not in that, you've got frequency up, frequency down, volume up and volume down. So these were about, I don't know what they were, £4 or £5 each, something like that. I think Sherlock, I think they're absolutely blinding little bits of kit. Alright, we didn't have too much soldering to do. You will notice that on the side there's an extra hole. Now I have another OLED radio kit that we're going to do next, I think. The other OLED radio kit, I think, possibly has an earphone out 3.5mm. So I reckon that extra hole is for the earphone out on a different model radio. But this is the FM stroke two-way walkie-talkie radio. I know that using the Baofeng I can reach the house, what I should do with the Baofeng. We will do a test on these, a range test at some point. It'll be quite interesting really. So we'll take them up on the Salisbury Plain and we'll have a... Oh no, we'll take them up to my pony field and we'll do a range test of a pony field. So that'll be another video, or it might even be added to this video because this ain't going to be hosted straight away. So thanks for watching, like and subscribe to the channel. This was the OLED FM radio two-way walkie-talkie. That's why I bought two. I hope you liked it and somebody's muscling in on the action. Oh Sherlock, look at him, bloody soppy sod. Sherlock, you're soppy. Sherlock Bones. Oh, he loves his daddy. Go on, big baby. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Roger and out.